Hi Year 8. This video is looking at the unitary method and percentages. We will go over this on Monday in class. However, if you find that you need something else to do and you're up to this, because I know a lot of you are fast workers, I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what the unitary method is. Now, if you think of what the word means in that heading, unit or unitary, do we know what that word means? Unit relates to the number 1. So what that means is we're going to relate our things in this section back to 1 and we're dealing with percentages. So if we think about the first question there, what it's saying is if 50% of a number is 32, what's that number? Now there's a couple of ways you could do that one. That's probably fairly easy in that if we know that half of our number is 32 and we want to take that number up to 100%. So we might write it down there. So 50% is 32. What's 100% going to be? So what do I do to 50 to get to 100? I double that. What do I do to 32? I do the same. I double it. So I'm going to get 64. So that's my number there. It's going to be 64. So we're looking at a relationship and what that relationship of that percent is to 100. And sometimes we can't easily take it straight up to 100, and that would be like the second one here. 60%, we need to take it down generally to a smaller number and then bump it back up to 100. So if we find the total cost is 60%, we want to find the total cost if 60% is $90, 60% is $90. And we want to find the total cost. So the total cost would be 100%. So you could look at, well, what do I do to 60 to turn it to 100? And you could do that in your calculator. You could divide 100 by 60 and work out what that is. That's okay. But I'm going to use the unitary method, okay? And I'm going to take that down to 10%. Or I could take it down to 1%. And I'm going to take it to 10. And then I'm going to take it back up to 100. Oops. So what do I do to 60 to make it into 10? I divide by 6. So I'm going to do the same to 90. What's 90 divided by 6? That's 15. So we now know that 10% is 15. So what do I do to 10 to turn it to 100? I times by 10. So I'm going to times 15 by 10, and that will get me 150. So that's basically what the unitary method is doing. It's taking it down to some other percent that we can then build it back up to. And a lot of the time we take it down to 1%. So I could have taken that from 60 down to 1 and divided by 60 and then times by 100 to get back to 100. So have a go at the questions in here and see if you can work out how to solve question 1 and 2. You don't need to today because we're going to do that next week. But have a little go because I know a lot of you like to think about these. Okay, I'm going to do one more in here. I'm going to do 3G. So it says find 100% of the number if a part of it is given. So G is telling us that 5% of our number is 83. Maybe that's dollars. Maybe 5% is $83. We want to get to 100%. So in that case, I can think, well, what do I do to 5 to turn it to 100? Or I'm going to take it down to 1%. So 5 down to 1. I'm going to divide by 5. And then I'm going to take that 1 back to 100%, which is what I want. I'm going to times by 100. So the 83, we're going to divide by 5, which is 16.6. And then I'm going to times that by 100. So you can do that on your calculator, or what you can do is just go, well, I'm going to move my decimal point 2 over. So it's 1660. That would be 100% of my number. So if you're liking that method, you can do that. If you can see another way that you can get to the 1660, so I know a lot of you do different reasoning to the way I do it, that's fine as well, okay, and you can use that. There's a couple of other challenging ones down the bottom to have a little go at as well.